Let's dive right into today's explainer. We're tackling something that affects millions of people, yet it's still so deeply misunderstood. I'm talking about clinical depression, the invisible illness. Let's make it visible, shall we? Now, to put this into perspective, nearly 10% of adults in the US are battling this right now. That is a massive number. In fact, it's the leading cause of disability worldwide. But, it's still way harder to explain to people than something like high cholesterol. Okay, so here's our game plan today. We'll look at sadness versus clinical depression, the main symptoms, what's literally going on inside the brain, the barriers to treatment, and finally, how to help a loved one.
Section 1, Sadness versus clinical depression. Let's get right into the vital difference between just a passing emotion and a serious medical condition.
So think of it this way. Transient sadness? That's like a rainy day when you fail a test, lose a job, or just have a string of bad luck. It passes when things get better. But clinical depression? That is a total climate shift. It lasts a minimum of 2 straight weeks and completely sabotages your ability to work, relax, or honestly, even to love.
And this brings us to a really crucial point. It is a disease, just like asthma or diabetes. I mean, you wouldn't try to cure a broken arm with sheer willpower, right? It's not a character flaw.
Section 2. Main symptoms of the invisible illness. So how does this actually play out in someone's day-to-day life? It's basically a behavioral hijacking. We're talking about a persistently low mood, completely losing interest in things you used to love, weird appetite changes, and feelings of utter worthlessness or really excessive guilt. It messes with your sleep too, either insomnia or sleeping way too much. You might get sluggish, restless, lose all your energy, or even have suicidal thoughts. Psychiatrists say if you or someone you know has 5 or more of these pervasive symptoms, it is absolutely a signal to go get a professional screening. Section 3. What happens inside the brain? Now, to prove this isn't just all in your head in that dismissive sort of way, let's literally look at the physical brain. The physical changes are absolutely real. On a macro level, X-rays actually show a reduction in the volume of your frontal lobes and hippocampus. Your brain literally shrinks in certain areas. And on a micro level, your circadian rhythms get completely blunted. Your deep sleep gets messed up. Your stress hormone cortisol spikes, and your thyroid goes out of whack.
And then there are neurotransmitters. These are the chemical messengers in your brain, things you've probably heard of like serotonin, noradrenaline, and dopamine. Well, during depression, they experience abnormal transmission or breakdown. They basically go on strike, completely short-circuiting the brain's network.
So you're probably wondering, why does this happen and who's going to get it? Well, scientists say it's a really complex mix of genetics and environment, but right now we just don't have a definitive diagnostic tool, like a magic crystal ball, to predict exactly when or where it will strike. Section 4. Barriers and effective treatment. Because this illness is invisible from the outside, getting help comes with its own tragic set of roadblocks. Just look at this number. 10 years. That is a staggering average amount of time someone suffers in silence with a mental illness before finally seeking professional help. And a lot of that is because they might look totally fine on the outside. But hey, here's the good news. Highly effective treatments exist. First, medications and therapy can work together to boost those brain chemicals back up. For severe cases, there's electroconvulsive therapy, or ECT, which is a controlled brain seizure, kind of like safely rebooting the brain. And there's also transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is this amazing emerging targeted treatment. Section 5. How to help a loved one. If you're watching this explainer and recognizing someone you care about, here is how you can actually step in and help. First off, delicately suggest treatment options. Don't be pushy, just supportive. Second, offer concrete help. For someone in the depths of depression, finding a therapist or making a list of questions for the doctor can feel like climbing Mount Everest, so do that heavy lifting for them. And third, validate their illness to relieve their guilt. Remind them it's a medical condition. Here's a huge one. Never ever compare their clinical depression to a time you were just feeling down. It accidentally minimizes their very real medical reality, and it just induces shame and makes them feel guilty for suffering. And we need to talk about this part. Openly asking about suicidal thoughts actually reduces the risk of suicide. Research proves this. It dismantles the stereotypes and provides an immediate, vital relief valve for the person who is suffering. You aren't planting the idea, you're offering a lifeline. So, will you help break the stigma so that science can advance and more people can heal? The more we talk about this, the better treatments we'll have in the future. Now, speaking of health and making positive changes, ready for your own physical transformation? Check the link below for a special discount to kickstart your journey. Let's get those results. Hope this was the perfect fuel for your brain today. If you're feeling smarter, hit that like button and subscribe for your weekly dose of insights. Thanks for watching.